Hey guys, welcome back. We are doing lesson 15 for Wit and Wisdom. So I'm going to share my screen with you so we can do our fluency. All right, fluency homework. And we're still reading about Bigfoot Cinderella. How Rella longed to go. Sadly, she stared at the river. She saw a fish jump. She made a wish on the fish. Me wish go fun fest, me wish dunk prince. Heartfelt wish is true wish, and so you go. Rella spun around. She was staring at the bear, the very one she'd given the fish. Who you? Me, your berry godfather. Okay, and here's the next one. The day grew late. Everyone had tried to win. Everyone had failed. Rats, no bride. Me dunk prince, grunting with all her might. She spun the log like a big twig. Then she gave it a twist and a flop. The prince flopped into the river. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. And I think I'm going to have to move that back up. Get my screen fixed up for you. So we just did our fluency passage. So let's move on to the next slide. Our focus question is, why do people admire the rough-faced girl and Ella? Our content framing is, what is the central message of Bigfoot Cinderella? And so let's think about that. What is a central message? Central message is the whole thought, the whole idea of the story, isn't it? It's what's the story about? So let's identify key evidence and the central message. Okay? All right. So with that, I am going to read a few pages here so we can identify the central message. All right, so we're going to start with page 11. I'm going to sit down here for a second so you guys can see that. We're going to start with page 11. And it says here, every year the Bigfoot Prince gave a great fun fest. There were gifts and food and games like Dump the Bear Cave, Hide and Seek, and Hurl the Hemlock. But log rolling was the favorite. And this year, whichever woman rolled the prince off a log and into the river would become his wife. Now, Rella's puny sisters hoped to dunk the prince. When me snag putrid furball prince, me roll whole place, yelled the older one. Me pick off flour, the younger one grinned. Then they bellowed together, power, power, power. So they smothered their pitiful fur, then spruced up with wildflowers and wearing fine bark clogs to grip the log. They clumped to the festival. Me go too, Rella hollered after them. She adored to sweat and win at games. Her sisters hooted so hard they fell down. So what's going on here? What was the message there? Ella wanted to go to the fun fest, right? So on page 11, I'm going to put Ella wanted to go to the fun fest. I'll put it over here. She wanted to go to the fun fest to do what? Sweat and win games. Okay, so let's read another page. Let's read page 13. How Rella longed to go. Sadly, she stared at the river. She saw a fish jump. She made a wish on a fish. Me wish go fun fest. Me wish dunk prince. Heartfelt wish is true wish, growled a gruff voice, and so you go. So what do you think the central message is on that page? She wishes she could go to the fun fest and dunk the, right? Ella wishes she could go to the fun fest to dunk Prince. Okay, let's keep going. Let's look at page 17. On page 17, it says, she boomed, thanks, and gave him a crunching hug. Be back sundown, he warned, or you be like sisters make you, no furry and smelly, but plenty flowery. Rella wasn't worried. She had lots of time. She skipped off, shaking the whole forest as she went. So what's the overall message on that page? Ella happily goes to the fun fest, right? Ella happily goes to Fun Fest with new clogs. Remember? Okay. So let's look at another page. Let's look at page 21 and 22. On 21 and 22, the big footprints rumbled, rats, no bride. He was about to slouch home when thunk, Rella bounded onto that log, pounding her chest and whooping, me, dunk Prince. Grunting with all her might, she spun the log like a big twig, then she gave it a twist and a flip, the Prince flopped into the river. So what was the main message there? She jumped on that log, tried as hard as she could to spin that log and dunk the Prince, didn't she? So Ella, let me put it over here. Ella jumped on log and tried as hard as she could to dunk Prince. Okay, so she didn't give up, did she? She jumped on and did her very best. All right, so our last page, let's look at page 29. Page 29. It says here, soon there was a rowdy wedding in the old growth forest. Everyone was invited. Even Rella's stepmother and stepsisters could come if they followed these rules carefully. No pig flower, no pull tree, no kick royal family. So what happened here? She married the Prince after dunking him, right? So Ella marries Prince after dunking him. Okay, so the overall message here is don't give up on your dream. She wanted to go to that fun fest. She wanted to sweat and win games. She didn't give up though. She wished she should go to the fun to dunk the Prince. She never gave up, did she? She gets to go to the fun fest with new clogs because of her berry godfather. She didn't give up. She jumped on the log and tried as hard as she could to dunk the Prince. She still didn't give up. In the end, because she didn't give up on her dream, she got to marry the Prince after dunking him. So the central message here is don't give up on your dream. That's what the overall book is about, not giving up on your dream. Okay. So let's move on. Okay, so think about the previous Cinderella stories that we've talked about. What was the overall message there? Be yourself, right? Be kind to others and not giving up on your dreams. Yeah. Okay. So we read pages 11, 13, 17, 21, 22, and 29. And we talked about the key evidence about the central message. And we come up with not to give up on your dreams. So based on all these actions in the text, we can learn from Bigfoot Cinderella is we don't need to give up on things. We need to keep going, keep striving for what we want to do, and be kind. So let's plan our focus question task. We're planning, we're not writing, okay? We're planning it. So our craft question, how do I write an opinion statement and supply reasons in an opinion paragraph? So we're going to look at our assessment 15A, our focus question task 2. So I'm going to pause this for a second and I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. And let me get rid of these bars here. So let me see here. I think it's this one. Nope, not that one. This one, our focus question, 15A. The task is saying, what do you most admire about Ella? First, read the evidence on the Ella traits chart. Next, choose a trait you most admire about Ella. Then write an opinion paragraph telling what you most admire about Ella. Support your response using evidence from the following text. Bigfoot Cinderella, okay? So what is this wanting us to do? We have to write an opinion paragraph telling what you most admire about Ella. So you've got to think back, okay, to our chart where we talked about, hold on, let me get to it. My fingers are not working. That she was considerate. Why was Ella considerate? Because she wouldn't harm a creature. You could write about that. Or her other trait, she was hardworking. Well, her action there was she fixed the fire, she catches fish, she combs the sister's hair, doesn't she? Okay. Another trait of Ella was she was generous. She gives the fish to the bear, doesn't she? Because the bear was hungry. Another trait, she was thankful. She thanks the berry godfather for helping her go to the fun fest. And then her last trait, she was determined because she keeps trying. She wants to dunk the prince and she does it. So her traits are she's considerate, she's hardworking, she's generous, she's thankful, and she is determined. Her actions, you can go back. Why is she considerate? Because she wouldn't harm a creature. Is she hardworking? Because she fixes the fire and catches fish and combs the stepsister's hair. Why is she generous? Because she gives fish to hungry bear. Why is she thankful? Because she thanks the berry godfather. And why is she determined? Because she keeps trying, because she wants to dunk the prince. So you're writing an opinion paragraph telling what you most admire about her. Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing. All right, and we're going to go back up here to our screen. Let me lower this back up. Okay, so we talked about what the prompt was wanting us to do, okay? Now remember, in our opinion writing, it's like an Oreo cookie, okay? Remember, it's like an Oreo cookie. You have your opinion statement. I think, well, let's see, what do we write about? I most admire Ella because, and you got to give a reason, and then you restate your opinion again. Whatever you wrote here, you can restate it here, but you need to give a reason here, okay? So remember the Oreo cookie when you're doing that. All right. Now, think about the trait you want to write about. And it says you're going to complete handout 15A. So I am going to mute that, and I'm going to go back and share my screen again. Where's my mouse? There it is. We're going to go back here. Let me get rid of this bar there, and let's look right here. All right, so here's our evidence organizer. This is what we're filling in. So your opinion statement. What do you most admire about Ella? Okay. In the opinion statement, you're going to write what? I admire what? What do you admire? Think about the traits that we just went over. So, opinion statement, I most admire Ella for being I mostly admire Ella for being what? Now, we talked about that. So let me stop sharing again. So I mostly admire Ella for being what? We talked about those. Do you want to say that she is considerate, or that she is thankful, or that she's hardworking, or she's generous, or she's determined? Put one of those in that sentence. Then you've got to tell why she is that. Okay? She is considerate because she does this. Or she is hardworking because she does this. Or she is generous because she does. All right? And you could do thankful and determined there. All right? Then, after your reason, you're going to do your conclusion. That is why she is what? So, that is why she is blank. All right. And you fill in the word again. Now, today, we're just planning it. We're not writing it to turn it in for a grade. This is just planning what you want to write. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to do this and turn my screen back on. Okay. So after you've written it out, I just want you to rehearse it. Okay? Just rehearse it with your person that's there with you. Okay? All right. So, what is the central message Bigfoot Cinderella. We know it's not to give up, right? That was the lesson that we learned from reading this story, is don't give up on your dream. Keep striving for what you want to do. Ella did, didn't she? She sure did, because her dream was she wanted to get on that log and dunk the prince. And she did, and she got to marry him in the end. All right, fluency homework check-in. Let's read over our fluency homework. So let's go back up here and let's share our screen. Let me go back over here to fluency check-in. All right, our fluency. The day grew late. Everyone had tried to win. Everyone had failed. Rats, no bride. Me dunk prince. Grunting with all her might, she spun the log like a big twig. Then she gave it a twist and a flop, and the prince flopped into the river. Is that B part? Oh, that was B. We need to go to A. Reading them backwards, aren't we? But that's okay. How Rella longed to go. Sadly, she stared at the river. She saw a fish jump. She made a wish on a fish. Me wish go fun fest. Me wish dunk prince. Heartfelt wish is true wish, and so you go. Rella spun around. She was staring at the bear, the very one she had given the fish. Who you? Me, your berry godfather. All right. Hopefully you guys are practicing that daily, because the more you practice, the better you get with your reading. All right, so our deep dive today is working with pronouns. Pronouns. Now remember, with pronouns, they take the place of a noun, don't they? They take the place of a noun. Now, if you notice, we've got some nouns up here. We've got Cinderella, we've got the prince, we've got mom, we've got girl, we've got John and Billy, and Ella. All right, so today, what we're going to do is we're just going to write a pronoun that you think would replace those nouns. So what could you put in place of Cinderella? You could put she, couldn't you? All right. What about prince? The prince. We could put he. What about mom? You could put she again, couldn't you? Or her. What about girl? You could use her. What about John and Billy? Them or they? And Ella, she or her, right? All right, so now we're going to talk possessive pronouns, words that show ownership. Words that show ownership. Let me raise it up so you can see. Hold on, my friends. Well, hold on. There we go. All right. So words that show ownership, possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns are words that show ownership, who owns the noun. All right. So these pronouns replace the person's name and help the reader know who owns the noun or who belongs. So how do you tell someone that something belongs to you or that you own it? Well, you normally write your name on it, right? Or you tell them that it's mine, or I tell them that it's my stuff, right? Okay. Well, using the words my or mine shows that something belongs to them. But there are other words like this that show things belong to other people as well. And these words are possessive pronouns. you've got the word your, that is your book. His, that is his pencil. Her, that is her mom. Our, that is our house. Or their dog is black. It shows it belongs to someone. It's ownership. Erase. Okay. Lisa's mom is coming to school. Think about that. How to choose a possessive pronoun from the chart to replace the possessive noun in the sentence. Think about what is there. What could we replace Lisa's mom with? We could put her mom is coming to school, right? So we could use her. What about Joe's pen is over there? Whose pen? It's Joe's pen, but it's his pen. So we could replace Joe's pen with his. The girl's cat got out of the house. The girls, we could replace it with her, couldn't we? The family's house is on my street. Whose house is it? It's theirs. Their house is on my street. We replaced the possessions right here with possessive pronouns to show ownership still. So how did we use possessive pronouns? We just replaced the ownership up here with pronouns that were possessive. And I believe that is it. All right, my friends, that was the end of this lesson. I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye, guys.